I went to the Dean of Students office, and she said, I just want to make sure, like, above all else, that you don't talk to anyone about this.
We learned today that a staggering 55 universities are facing a federal investigation because of the way they respond to their students in a crisis of sexual assault.
Rape and sexual assault have the same percentage of false reports that any other crime has in our country.
It can happen anywhere at any time, and the colleges may not be doing enough.
I was always that little girl who knew that I was going to come to New York and shine. I came here really ready for the adventure and feeling full of excitement.
College campuses are a place where students can come to learn. They want a fresh start, a foolproof escape from home. Every college student is open to the experiences that a new dorm life can offer.
I came here really ready for the adventure and feeling full of excitement and promise, which sounds so cheesy, but it really is true.
That's not cheesy at all. That's what every incoming freshman thinks at Holmes, right? It's all about possibility and no evil.
Some of those experiences aren't what young kids desire, though. Some experiences involve frat parties and something that all seems like good fun.
When parties get too out of hand, or people decide to walk home alone at night, a little too tipsy, things seem to happen.
It only takes one mistake, one moment where someone glances away from the red solo cup in their hand, one moment to ruin their lives forever.
He continued to buy us both more drinks. Half an hour into it, I noticed my girlfriend seemed wasted. People started to comment on how drunk my friend seemed. Almost instantly after we got into the taxi, I just felt this extremely heavy feeling come over me. My friend, she was just kind of passed out completely.
According to RAINN, accessed on March 19th, among undergraduate students, 23.1% of females and 5.4% of males experience rape or sexual assault through physical force or violence. When it comes to enrollment in South Carolina colleges, that number doesn't seem to waver.
On October 31st, the university held a Tea and Ethics Forum at the Jackson Family Center. It was a panel discussion about sexual assault awareness and consent. According to one of the petitions, a large number of students responded to the panelists by saying things like, "Rape is the victim's fault," and expressing an overall disrespect for the panelists' expertise. These comments reportedly led to cheers and applause from the audience, causing one panelist to walk out. The harassment of that panelist, who is a professor at CCU, reportedly continued onto social media. I spoke with one student who heard about what happened and is concerned there are fellow students who still view sexual assault this way.
It's hard because we do so much to prove that, rape isn't okay, and we do so much to prevent it, but yet we still have organizations who think that even saying that is okay, and I can't imagine what they think the act is like.
The petitions say the students' actions create an environment in which no student would be comfortable reporting a rape. They go on to ask CCU's administration to respond to the incident by outlining expectations of student behavior at events like these, and forming a committee to evaluate the effectiveness of sexual assault policies, protocol, and educational programming at CCU.
A lot of people have the generalizing disbelief that sexual assault is something of fantasy, as researched by Washington Post on June 14, 2015. Something that happens in large busy cities and equally as large colleges, but it happens everywhere, in every school and in every institution.
Colleges have tried many different methods in order to combat the vicious attacks. One of the ways they've instilled is the Title IX initiative. It lists the different ways sexual assault falls under.
The athletics law for the longest time, because if you go back to the 70s when it was passed and you looked at colleges and universities and you looked at their sports programs, they were pretty male dominated. And what has happened is that the courts have come down and said that rape, sexual assault is a form of sexual harassment, which is a form of sex discrimination, which is covered underneath Title IX.
The first category is quid pro quo. It translates to this for that according to TitleIX4Survivors.org. It depends on the relationship between a student or teacher. The professor would offer passing the student or keeping them out of trouble in exchange for sexual acts.
The second category that Title IX discusses is that of a hostile environment. It's a broad statement that can refer to unwanted advances during parties or acts against the wish of the victim, as stated by Coastal Carolina's guidebook on what to do after sexual assault.
There are other categories that Title IX covers, like stalking and sexual battery, but Title IX can be a good or bad thing.
Most schools use this act in their favor. They make sure that defense lawyers on cases like these find loopholes. The act is broad and specific at the same time, making sure only certain things classify as rape.
He was so much stronger than me, and I rocked around, but I couldn't free myself.
Did you say no?
I just told you that I said no.
Colleges seem to focus a lot of time on their trials instead of the solution to the major problem that has been plaguing every single college and across the globe. They have designated 2 main categories of prevention in Coastal Carolina's campus alone.
The 2 teammates, now co-defendants, both charged with aggravated rape and sexual battery against a female student in June of 2013.
That's the alleged victim laying in the hallway of Gillette dorm.
On Monday, detectives describing the alleged attack, which they say the young men recorded on their smartphones.
This is Corey Beatty with his shirt removed, his pants removed.
Jurors saw one video, too graphic to show the rest of the courtroom, but on it, you can hear what sounds like laughter during the alleged rape.
The first main way to prevent sexual assault has been established in a reactive way, which means that self-defense is the main way for women and men to prevent the possibility of sexual assault.
One of the main ways that Coastal uses the self-defense method is by offering up a program called RAD. It stands for Rape Aggression Defense System.
Self-defense is something to be taken seriously.
Defensive stance?
No! Especially when your life depends on it.
We do a very good job with this program in educating women about what sexual assault really looks like.
And in this rape aggression defense course, it's not about meeting violence with violence.
I had never thrown a punch in my life.
It starts with the mind. First-timers like Jennifer Wyatt say that's what they're taking away from this course.
They talk a lot about visualization and just being prepared. We add the physical piece to the program, but truly it's the opportunity to educate.
Educate and empower.
I feel confident, I feel prepared, and I feel ready through this class.
No! Yells and the moves only work to encourage women to not stand for abuse.
85% of assaults are by people that you know.
But to stand up for themselves, no matter what the threat is.
Rape is a very uncomfortable word, but exactly that. It is exactly what it is. Rape is not pretty, and it's not something we should have to deal with.
I think just being more aware of my surroundings is always good. You never know, just walking down the street, what kind of situation you might find yourself in.
I really think that it is so important that every college girl takes this class, and I wish that it was a requirement.
This class was just introduced, and not only teaches women who take the class about how to defend themselves in certain ways, but it also teaches them exactly what classifies as sexual assault and how to report it to the authorities.
One of their main key points is emphasizing on exactly how important flight or fight is. They want to make sure that women know how to defend themselves long enough to run and get help.
There are other methods of self-defense, like carrying around a concealed weapon. When people hear concealed weapons, they think about firearms. But that term can mean anything from a pocket knife to pepper spray on a keychain.
Okay, so now we are going to speak about how to use an everyday object. In this case, we are going to talk about the keys. This is one of the most prevalent weapons, no doubt about, because you can use it to slash something, to stab, or even you can use it to hit some targets, okay? So in this case, we're going to start by explaining, I think the most important thing is how to grab the key properly. Because there's a myth where people would use this by putting between these fingers. And the problem with that is as soon as you hit, you're probably going to cut yourself, or you're going to move the keys and you're going to cut yourself later. So the best way and the safest way would be between the thumb and the index in this position. So once you have that position, you have everything. You can do whatever you want, okay? So let's explain a couple of things. For example, the slashing, okay? So imagine that she punches, okay? I redirect the punch and I slash, okay? It doesn't have to cut, it just has to be distracting. I can do that, or I can go for the neck, okay? Or I can even do it to the arm, so I can redirect and I can go to the arm, okay? Very important is to do the movement completely, not to make it short, otherwise you're not going to reach properly the area.
Coastal Carolina doesn't just offer physical ways to ward off attackers, they also make sure that there are proactive ways to combat the problem of sexual assault. One of that includes a buddy system.
Buddy systems are along the same lines as designated drivers. If a group of friends won't drink and drive, then that same group should be wary about not splitting up during a party. The buddy system is something that is pioneered by every college, including Furman University, as stated by Coastal Carolina's official website.
My name is Margot.
My name is Luna. My name is Andy.
My name is Noah.
I'm Misha. I'm 18 and I'm leaving for school tomorrow.
I'm excited.
A little nervous and apprehensive, but I think I'm ready.
My parents are feeling pretty stressed out about me leaving.
My moms, I have two moms, are very sad. It's a whole chapter of life that's ending.
We've got my dad, he's happy. He's really proud that he's sending his first daughter off to college.
I don't think that they're gonna realize how hard it is to be all alone in their house. They're gonna miss me and I'm gonna miss them.
My parents never really talked to me that much about sexual assault.
My mother was born and raised in Mexico, very Catholic. She was always very conservative in terms of sexual education.
She doesn't really like talking about things that are difficult.
Maybe if they don't talk about it, it'll never happen.
I think they have a lot of faith in, the school's sex ed. And in high school, we had classes where we talked about issues related to sex and drugs.
But not rape.
I feel like I got enough of a sexual education, maybe not enough about sexual assault.
These cards had a lot of good information that I didn't know before.
2/3 of sexual assaults happen with people that you consider a friend or a boyfriend.
A friend comes to you and says that they've been assaulted, to say it's not your fault. The voices of men are needed in stopping sexual assault, not just the voices of women.
I think it's information that everyone needs to know. The little statistic or the little phrase of what to say in a situation like that will give someone, I think, a little more confidence in knowing how to handle the situation.
Before I saw the card, I had not heard about Circle of Six.
It hooks you up to 6 of your closest friends, people you can trust, and then gives you discreet and quick ways for getting help.
It seems like a good idea to me if you use the Circle of Six app to bridge the gap into college while you're still in the process of making friends. My Circle of Six is all friends that will be away from me when I'm at college because I don't really know anyone there. Until you make new people that you trust that'll be even closer to you.
My mom is on my Circle of Six, and I probably would put my dad on there too, but I'd be afraid he'd bring a shotgun.
I would definitely say yes if someone asked me to be in their Circle of Six.
I would be honored to play that role.
I think it's a great idea for colleges to send a letter to parents, including the card.
So, students and parents are talking about it.
Talking about sexual assault, awareness, prevention was really helpful because it's something that, lurks in the back of your mind. And just knowing what happens and there are places to go and numbers to call has been really helpful.
The buddy system is in place along with actual consent quizzes that are taken upon admission to Coastal. It tests freshman students on what no means and how to handle any type of situation that involves assault.
This little test doesn't do a very good job when it comes to preventing the actual assault though, which is why teaching consent in K through 12 is becoming a better option to solving this issue.
School systems are starting to propose the idea of incorporating consent into the curriculum instead of having them learn firsthand at college what it really means.
We should talk.
I want to talk about it.
We need to talk about consent. Which may seem hard. It's not really everybody's favorite subject.
It's not really a sexy word.
I don't feel like I use it a lot.
Like we're getting something notarized.
days.
It sounds very formal.
Sign here, here, and here.
Something you hear in the news.
But we should be talking about it.
Because this
And initial 3 times here.
is the wrong way to think about it.
Consent is more than just a legal term.
It's not a box to check or something to get out of the way.
It's about respect and listening. It's communicating openly.
And it's how to have good sex.
I'd like to talk about that.
Really good sex.
I vote we talk about that. And we will. But first, let's get some things clear. Consent means you have ownership over your own body.
You have agency.
All the time.
And nothing can ever change that.
Not what you wear, not what you've been drinking.
Not where you are or what time it is.
Nothing.
Consent is something you own and share.
And you always have the right to choose what you share.
Just because you give consent to one thing doesn't mean that somebody has full reign of your body.
And you can always change your mind.
If you don't like what's happening anymore, it's perfectly fine to stop.
Peace out. Gotta go.
You don't owe anyone anything.
And it's okay to say no to some things and yes to others.
Communicating ensures that everybody is safe and feels respected.
It's also the key to great sex.
Because sex should be good.
And good sex is great.
Like really, really great.
You feel good about it the next day.
Clouds opening up.
And the day after that.
And you're completely in tune with the other person.
I'll do that again. I'll do it again right now. So, how do we do that? How do you know you have consent?
You gotta pay attention.
Sometimes it's verbal.
Yes.
No.
Those are pretty clear-cut.
Sometimes it's physical. You're really vibing with someone.
Returning loving touches.
Guiding each other.
Reciprocating.
Communicate with your partner.
Or partners.
Right. Communicate with them about what you like or don't like.
How are you feeling? How are they feeling? Do they seem conflicted, uncomfortable, or tense, or even scared? Check in.
And if you're not sure, ask.
Is this okay?
Can I do this?
If not, they'll be glad you asked.
Because that's kind of sexy, actually.
Help your partner by being clear about your consent as well.
I don't want that.
Why don't we try something else?
Let's stop. You don't have to feel shy or worried about what they'll think.
No one wants to have bad sex.
So guide them, let them know what you like.
And if you don't know, you could find out together.
Being open and building trust can help you try new things.
And new things can be very fun.
Ask him.
Ask her. Ask them. And listen.
If you take care of them, they can take care of you.
And it's pretty nice to be taken care of.
Consent is mutual communication.
If it's not mutual, or if your partner cannot communicate
actively,
because they're asleep or passed out,
if they're intoxicated or high,
then that's not consent.
End of story. Your standards for sex can and should be higher than just not a felony.
Find out what consent means to you and your partner.
Know what you need to feel comfortable and to enjoy sex.
Make sure your partner respects that.
And that you respect your partner.
Consent is not just a question of legality.
Not just who has permission to do what.
It's the basis for a healthy and happy sex life,
whether you're having sex or not.
And it's okay if you are.
And it's okay if you're not.
Everybody's okay.
The only thing that's not okay is someone else making that choice for you.
If you have any questions,
if you feel like you're in a gray area,
or to learn how NYU defines consent,
you can go to nyu.edu/sexual-respect, or check out the Center for Sexual Misconduct Support Services.
Let's talk about consent.
Because we have to.
Because we need to.
And because we want to.
According to the School Consent Project, a survey by the National Union of Students has found that 90% of students want to see sex and relationship education become statutory in schools. This survey demonstrated that consent is one of the principal gaps in what is currently taught, with 2/3 of 25,000 students surveyed saying that they had not discussed consent as part of school lessons.
Consent is nothing to joke about, nor is it something really taught in schools.
Okay, I think you're done.
When it comes to sexual assault on college campuses, nothing has changed so far, making it imperative to combine both reactive and proactive methods in order to make Coastal Carolina a safer campus.
All right, thank you.
I think that girls dressing up in extremely provocative outfits and drinking ridiculous amounts of alcohol and going to any party on campus, they're setting themselves up for a hookup of sorts.